Alright guys, welcome back to another video here on Global Football Files. I am going to be talking about 10 players that have yet to make their debuts for the US, the senior national team, that in my opinion could make an impact, could make their debuts in the next cycle coming up. Some of them look pretty much more nailed on, some of which are a little bit more of a stretch and need to prove themselves, but are also some looked like they're pretty good prospects, have been involved with the U.S. youth systems for quite some time now. So they're on this list. Again, this is just 10 players. All right. As you guys know, if you're familiar with international football, you know how quick players will come in and out of the cycle and the depth chart. So, some of these guys may never make it. Some of these guys may play 2 games, in the first window post World Cup and then never play again. There might be 60 guys that have never made their debuts for the U.S. team making their debuts in the next 4 years. But these are just 10 guys that I picked. If you guys want to see a part 2, let me know, and I'll grab 10 more guys. I pretty much already have a list, but these are the guys that I feel a little bit more confident in. Slash, there's areas of need where they play. So, I believe that they'll be a little bit more inclined to be getting their debut, a little bit better of a chance. So first up, as you can see on screen, is going to be Nico Tsakiris. I think this is a pretty nailed on pick, barring obviously injuries or any other, outstanding circumstances. I just feel like he is kind of ready for a chance. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and be, Andres Iniesta in that midfield, but I think he very well could come in and have an impact, especially when you're looking at how the U.S. likes to build their rosters. They like to have MLS players in. Tsakiris is a good example of somebody that could be coming in. You've got Roldan and Berhalter in that midfield now, both in the MLS. I think someone like Nico Tsakiris will get that chance coming up post World Cup. He's just 20 years old. He's made 77 appearances for San Jose now. He's got 4 goals. This year, he has had a very good year to his MLS season. You can see here all 6 games that he has played at San Jose. He has started in all of their games, 539 minutes, all but 1 minute. He's got 2 goals, which came in their last game against San Diego. He played a lot of minutes for the U.S. U20 team at the the U20 World Cup this past fall. And in my opinion, I think a first cap for him is very much on the cards soon. That midfield is kind of open. I mean, obviously you've got, guys like McKinney in there, but, even Tyler Adams has had some injury issues over the last few years. So I could see him coming in, and honestly, I have right here that I think he even could come in that first camp post World Cup. You're looking at his stats here. This is MLS stats so far to start the season, but you can see attacking wise, very good. Passing wise, he's been very good. Out of possession stuff, defensive actions could be better. He's got 10 tackles. If I click on the per 90s, again, this is just on FootMob. You can see, he could be doing a little bit more defensively. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched every single San Jose game in great detail. So he very easily could just be playing a little bit more of attacking midfielder and not being asked to do as much defensive work. But going forward, he's looked really good so far this year. A lot of experience in the MLS already, just even at 20 years old. Clearly relied upon in the U.S. youth systems for the national teams. So I think he is somebody that when the U.S. and whoever the manager is, if it's Pochettino, which I feel like Pochettino is going to be going after the World Cup, and whoever else is coming in to take that position, and whoever's going to take charge of the U.S. after the World Cup, I feel as though that Nico Tsakiris is going to end up taking one of those World Cup spot, or not World Cups, one of those roster spots from somebody like Roldan, just because it's a more young blood to come in there, and I think he is going to be a little bit of a better player than Roldan is. Next up, we're going to go with Xavier Gozo. He has played inconsistently over the last few years, but this year, 6 starts, 539 minutes, again, almost every single minute for Real Salt Lake. He's 19 years old. He plays right wing, can play on the left, can play up top, can play centrally. Um, this is exactly what the U.S. needs, in my opinion. They have a lot of issues with depth on those wings, and I think he is a very solid option. I even had him as one of my guys that very easily could have been called up in the March window, solely because he started off playing well in the league in MLS, and he was on that right hand side. So I figured, why not go ahead, call someone like this up, and just see, get firsthand look at how he's doing. This past weekend against Sporting Kansas City, 1 goal, 1 assist. His goal, if you've not seen it, was a great, great goal. Wonderful finish. So he's continuing to improve this year and play well. He's with the U21s this past window. I think at 19 years old, we figure next World Cup he's going to be 23, 24 years old. So I am extremely, extremely high on him. I think a lot of people in terms of U.S. fans are getting more excited about him. But yeah, he's looks quite the player. The U20 World Cup, again, a lot of these guys did play at the U20 World Cup for obvious reasons. They're good players with a bright future, and but there's obviously reasons for that. He played a lot of minutes for the U.S. team, then scored 1, assisted 2. He looked really good. Again, U.S. lacking wingers, lacking depth, and I think having him around, if you sit there, you're looking down that depth chart, and how you're building your roster, I really would not be shocked if he continues to play in good form, he stays healthy. I wouldn't be shocked if come World Cup roster announcement if his name's on there. I really wouldn't, just to get him that experience of being around a World Cup camp and learning about how how it all goes, and learning about the World Cup and all, getting that experience, so when we get to the 2030 World Cup, he's ready to go and has that experience and know-how of being there and doing it. Now, next up is Rokas Puchtas. If you guys did not see my March window prediction roster or my roster videos for March, you would know, or you wouldn't know, but in those videos, I talked a lot about Rokas Puchtas. He's 21 years old, attacking midfielders, played about 73% of the possible minutes for Hajduk Split in Croatia. This is a side that is known for developing young players, especially Croatian players. He's not Croatian, but they're known for producing and developing a lot of very talented players. He's made 124 appearances, scoring 23 goals for them since January of 2022. A lot of minutes. And even then, you go back 21, 22, he made 1 appearance. And you can see last year he had a little bit of a down year, which I think definitely hurt his stock in this past window. But this year, you look at that, 28 appearances, 9 goals, 7.65 rating according to FootMob. He's had a great, great, great year for the Croatian side, who sit quite high up in the Croatian league table. He is just playing in exceptionally well. He started 19 of 22 games for them this year. He's just had a great season. I mean, he's got an assist today, played well today. You look at, if we look at his per 90 shooting, look at his shooting stats. He's, as an attacking midfielder for Hajduk, he's playing really well. His passing could get a little bit better per 90s, but all in all, it's not too bad. But you can see here, possession-wise, he's been being quite well, in terms of recovery and keeping possession, winning the ball back, that kind of stuff that you would really want to see in a box-to-box midfielder. And again, defensively as well, looking very good. Again, depends on how you want to play him. If he's asked to play his more deep line, then he's asked to play more deep line. He goes forward. He can do a bit of both. You can see here 4.31 defensive contributions per 90, almost just under 3 tackles and an interception per 90. He wins over almost 60% of his duels. He's a decent dribbler. Obviously, he's not going to sit there and go beating guys one-on-one all the time, but not a bad dribbler. I think he is somebody that I really want to see in the U.S. shirt very soon. I want him at the World Cup. Not saying he's going to displace Pulisic at this World Cup or nothing like that, obviously. But in my opinion, for him to not even get called up to the U.S. senior team yet at this point is kind of crazy. I think he deserves it. And I'm predicting him to go ahead and actually get a move away from Hajduk if he would like this upcoming summer. I think somewhere like the Belgian Pro League or the Eredivisie will be a really, really smart and good move for him. Somewhere that will focus on developing and continue on his development while also playing very competitively in a better league with no disrespect to the Croatian league, but it would be a better league than the Croatian league. A little bit more experience, higher quality. I think it would just be an extremely, extremely fun thing. I'm really high on him. You can see $6 million market value at the moment. And again, I think he's going to go ahead, get a move, and get called up very, very soon to the U.S. roster. Now, the U.S. has a huge goalkeeping issue in this window. Really, the last World Cup and this World Cup. Nobody's really come up and been a nailed on number one. Matt Turner looked like he was kind of the guy for a little bit, but you weren't even that comfortable with him. Now it's Freeze, and again, Freeze, you're not even really that comfortable with him. So I've got a couple goalies on this list, and I mean, there's so many more that are actually look to have some potential and some ability that not a lot of people realize how deep the goalkeeper prospects are. I'm not saying all these guys are going to be world-class goalies, no. But I think somebody like Fari here that I have got is going to be a solid goalkeeper for a while in the MLS at least. He's 19. It's his first year as a senior goalkeeper. He's with San Diego this year. He's played in 8 games. He's played in 5 of their 6 MLS games. You can see he played in the CONCACAF Champions League as well, 2 games against Toluca. But he's done quite well. He's prevented 2.28 goals, 78% save percentage, which is really nice. He's got 3 clean sheets in his 5 matches in the league. He's good with the ball as well. He's completing some passes. His long balls could get better, but again, San Diego are not forcing him to play a lot of long balls, so he doesn't really need to. But the one concerning part really is his long ball completion percentage at 41.5. Again, he's 19. It's his first year of senior football. I think it's somebody that he needs to go ahead and just develop a little bit more. He should not get a move to Europe this year. I think it would just be a really bad move for him, just barely getting started in senior football and with the MLS. I think he needs to go ahead, spend a little bit more time to develop a little bit more. But again, he's somebody that kind of started turning up, and now he's really showing that he's a serious prospect for the U.S., and I would not be shocked if he gets calls for the U.S. team soon. But again, at 19, fresh when it comes to playing senior football is a little bit more touchy. When you compare him to Chris Brady, who has gotten called up for the U.S. roster, called up in this past March window after Celentano getting hurt, but he never played. He's yet to make his debut, but he has made 105 appearances for Chicago Fire. You compare that to Free, who's made 8. 105 versus 8 in terms of senior team football appearances is a huge, huge, huge difference. And he looks to be solid. He's 22 years old. He's nice and tall at 6'3". He's done quite well this year for Chicago. Again, by 2030, he will be a prime age of 26. He has started all 6 of Chicago's MLS games this year. 3 clean sheets as well, 5 conceded, the 7.36 rating, done quite well. You can see there, man of the match performance against Nashville, man of the match against Columbus Crew as well. He's done quite well. 75% save percentage, 2.33 goals prevented, which are, the save percentage is a little bit less than Fari's, but the goals prevented is a little bit higher. Now, my one concern with him, again, I've not sat there and just studied Brady and his ability on the ball, but these right here, his distribution, his passes, and all, does not fill me with confidence. Um, he's got ability on the ball. He's completing some of his passes, but his long ball percentage is really far down there. He doesn't complete that many passes or long ball passes, and it just might be just how Chicago is asking him to play. And all in all, that might be how it is. He might be looking quite good, but at 22 years old, with a lot of minutes under his belt, he's clearly right on the brink. Pochettino just calling him up, and I really expect someone like that to go ahead and get called up in the next window post World Cup. I even could see him getting called up to the World Cup roster. It just depends on how the U.S. wants to run the goalie situation and the amount of goalies you keep, and who you want. I expect Freese and Turner. It's that last one that's going to be a toss up. Celentano's there, Brady's there, Faree's there, Solanina, Koken. I mean, there's so many guys. You could call up just whether as you want them to even play or not. It's just that third string option. But Brady is somebody that I expect, another one of them that I expect to be called up quite soon. Now, when it comes to guys that are not expected to be called up soon, Nolan Norris is one of them. 5'10", 21 years old, left back. He's somebody that I'm a little bit more on the fence on in terms of making an impact for the U.S., making his debut anytime soon. He's at 21, and he's not even playing that much for FC Dallas, which is a huge concern. He started the last 3 matches, which is good. He's completed 90-1, but he didn't play in the first 3 matches. He hasn't done too well again in the last couple games. He's only played 235 minutes, so definitely concerned, but he played a lot of minutes in the U.S. in the U20 World Cup. If we go back here, you can see played a lot of minutes for the U20 World Cup, and he did quite well. That is partly why I am having him on this list. He is somebody that is clearly liked by the U.S. system. He's displaced a couple other of these left backs I've got coming up. He started ahead of him at the U20 World Cup, and U.S. soccer is a fan of him. He's got ability. It depends on how his season goes so far with FC Dallas and the kind of minutes he gets and the consistency he strings together. Left back is an area of concern, in my opinion, for the U.S. as well going forward to the next cycle. Robinson is growing older. Injuries have really hit him in the last year and a half. And then after that, you really just kind of nobody's taking it by storm. Arston's done okay, but not great. I'm not a big fan of Arston, so I really wouldn't be shocked if he gets a call up. But at the same time, he needs to prove himself that he's capable and deserves the chance in the MLS. So I'm back and forth on it. But again, if he gets called up, if I see his name on a U.S. roster coming up after the World Cup, I would not be shocked. I think he's going to end up getting there at some point in the next 4 years. And I think he'll be a solid MLS player for really most of his career. Now on to another young player here with Luca Bombino. So he's another left back that I think will go ahead and could really take steps forward in the next couple of years. 19 years old at San Diego. He has started all 6 of their games, played most of their games this year. A lot of minutes, 494 minutes in the MLS. Consistency hasn't been great. His match ratings haven't been great. He's had a pretty bad last 3 games, month of March into April. He's not done too great, but a lot of talent. At 19 years old, he's got a goal this year. In the Champions League, a couple assists against Toluca as well. He's going forward. He does quite well. Again, you can see left back. He's got a chance at opportunity, ability to play right back, but not as good. He likes to get forward, get some balls in the box. He likes to get the ball to his feet, which I think is quite good and will serve him well. Wins back possession quite a bit. 32 duels won, 53%. He wins the ball in the air as well at almost 60% aerial duel percentage. Gets a lot of touches on the ball, wins some fouls. So, that's a good aspect of it. Recovering the ball well, could get better, but he's still, over 60% there. I think he is, again, somebody where the left back options are thin for the U.S. when it comes to more experienced players at the moment. You got Jedi and you got Tolkien, you got Arston, but I'm not a fan of Arston. Tolkien has not done really much for the U.S. So somebody like Luca Bambino, if he continues to do well for San Diego, I could see him really blossoming and potentially earning a lot of chances for the U.S. national team coming up. One other left, I would say left back, but really just left sided player is Peyton Miller. 18 years old, got a little bit younger here again. Peyton Miller, left back, left wing, got a bit of everything for New England. And he is got a lot of ability, a lot of potential at the U.S. U20 World Cup recently. My only concern is in terms of the next cycle, he's not started a game. He's only played 48 minutes in the MLS, but he's got 2 goals. So it's kind of that give and take. How much is New England going to start using him? Because he looks like when they use him, he can be effective, but he's not had a great deal of a chance. I think he's not quite anywhere close to getting that call up to the U.S. team yet. But if he continues to develop, New England gives him a chance, or if he gets sent somewhere else, I would not suggest for him moving abroad yet. He needs to stay in the MLS, get a lot of minutes in MLS football before he can move abroad. He's still at 18. Next World Cup comes around, he'll be 22. So still got a lot of room to grow. He's still got 2 World Cups at least, maybe even a third before he even hits 30. So that's a lot of time for him to develop and assert his name in there. He doesn't have as much pressure on him right now, but he looks like he can be a really solid asset for the U.S. and their future. And again, left wing, left back, left wing back, however you want to play him. He looks like he can fit the bill. He can play in all those areas. So I think he is somebody that's going to be an interesting player to watch him develop. And I think, again, more of a long shot in terms of the next couple of years. But as we start to hit that 3rd and 4th year into the next cycle, I think that's really when we're going to start looking at calling up Peyton Miller. Now, to address the center back issues, I've gone with Joshua Winder. Again, obviously, center backs is a huge thing right now. This year, he's been injured a lot, and he's stuck in Benfica's B team. And that's a huge, huge concern of me going forward for him. He's 20 years old, so the time is now for him to start getting some serious top-level senior football at consistent minutes, good minutes. He's only made 1 appearance for Benfica, and it's been a while. So he needs to sort it out and get minutes. Again, injuries have really hurt him this year. He should be back pretty soon to hopefully getting some fitness under him. But it is time for him to find a move, whether it's a loan move to another Portuguese side, a loan move back to the MLS, something. He needs something to get minutes under his belt because that center back group is just wide open. Anybody can go in there and take it. I mean, there's so many center backs that are available that are young that anyone can come in and just snatch that chain of the depth chart and work their way up. I'm really high on Winder. I watched him at the U20 World Cup, and he was a serious, serious player. He had a lot of ability, good on the ball, very comfortable in the ball, really demanding presence, even just at 6 foot tall. Really covered ground quite well, good amount of pace. I think he's somebody that, if he stays healthy and gets some good, consistent minutes, he will be a serious, serious, serious player for that next World Cup. But again, he's got to get the minutes under his belt. He's got to get out of that Benfica system, in my opinion, unless he's getting minutes. But it's not looking likely that he'll go ahead and get minutes for Benfica's men's team, their senior team, anytime soon. So he's got to get out of that threshold and that chokehold and move on. He made that big jump from Louisville City back in 2023. I think it may have been a bit of a big jump for him. I think if he would have gone to the MLS, he would have gotten a lot of minutes there and really developed and could have been really in good consideration for this World Cup. But he took that leap to Benfica to no fault of his own, take that chance. But it just has not worked out for him at all. And I think it's time he needs a change. And, it needs to happen now. It needs to happen in this upcoming window. All right, and the last player I've got on my list is Brooklyn Raines. I think this is somebody that I put on this list because it's a really interesting one. Like I said with a couple other players, U.S. likes to call up MLS players. He's 21, so the next 4 years dictates if he ever makes his debut for the U.S. national team, in my opinion. And he's not had a great start to his career at New England. He started off 5 games, but he's not played very well. No real contributions to the, on the score sheet wise again. But he is a defensive midfielder, so there is that aspect of it. But he's just not looked great. He's 21, had a really tough start to the year for New England, but he played a lot of minutes for the U20 team at the World Cup. So there's that part of it. It's just one of those things where I think if he develops, he'll be a very good MLS player. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I had a chance to be a very good MLS player for 10 years, I would have taken it. I would have been very happy with it. Again, that midfield spot, that midfield battle in there of who really gets in, you're going to have a lot of players coming in and out in that midfield over the next 4 years. And if he gets good minutes under him, gets playing consistently, I think he has a chance to step up. But he's really, really struggled. Again, if you think about Berhalter with this current cycle and this current roster in the last few years, I think Brooklyn Raines has a chance to be the Roldan type player to come in, break things up, move on with his day. We can see here it's really what his job is to break up the play as much as possible, win the ball back a lot. 25 recoveries is great. If we look at his per 90s, that is a solid, almost 5 1/3 recoveries per 90 minutes. Block shots, wins 1.5, 1.5 interceptions, won a game, 5.5 contributions per 90. So he's got a good defensive ability about him, and I think he might be somebody like a Roldan in the next cycle. Just throw him in the game, have him make things a little bit sloppy. He still has obviously technical ability. At this day and age, you can't be a player without technical ability, but his passing and his possession wise, his stats this year have not been very good. But again, very consistent player for the U.S. youth teams. You can see here U17, U23s, U19s, U20s, U21s, a lot of the different youth system teams for the U.S. And I think that is what really helps him here. But again, like I was saying, he has to keep consistent minutes and get playing and get consistent and start playing well. There's a lot of midfielders. I probably have another list of about 4 or 5 more midfielders that I could have thrown on this list that also could be in here. But I kind of wanted to keep an MLS theme with the MLS minutes being consistent. And I think someone like Brooklyn Raines is a very solid option at getting in there. He has a chance, but he needs to pick it up, because if he continues to struggle like this the rest of this season, I think he is completely out of any future consideration for any youth U.S. systems, whether it's youth or senior teams, because nowadays a lot of young players are really making a name for themselves in the MLS this year. It's been a good start for U.S. prospects and just prospects in general in the U.S. and the MLS, and I think it's time that he needs to pick it up. If not, he will move out the black hole of prospects that played well in the youth systems and then failed at the senior level. But again, that's 10 players. Some players I had a little bit more on, some players a little bit less likely. But again, that's 10. I've got another list of 10 and could probably make another 4 or 5 more lists of 10 players that can make it. So if you guys want to see a part 2, please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, so when I do go ahead, if you guys want that, make that video and I get release it, you guys are there to watch it right away, so you can see who's there. And in the comments as well, let me know what guys aren't on my list that you think. I know someone's going to say Kevin Sullivan or some of those guys, but they're in my part 2 list if you guys want to see that. And I'll give my reasons for why I'm not in part 1. But let me know what you guys think, and I will see everybody in the next video.